Hello, dear friends. Have you ever felt like you were standing at the edge of a vast ocean, uncertain of what lies beneath the surface? Today, let's dive into a story that explores the depths of hope, resilience, and the unseen currents that guide us. Imagine a young woman named Clara, who, after facing countless challenges, discovers that the waves of her struggles are not meant to drown her, but to carry her to a new shore. Join me as we embark on this journey together, uncovering lessons that can transform our own lives. As Clara stood at the water's edge, the salty breeze tousled her hair, mirroring the inner turmoil she felt. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a golden hue over the waves. Each crash of water against the shore seemed to whisper secrets of strength and purpose, urging her to confront the storm brewing within. Days turned into weeks since she had lost her job, and the weight of uncertainty had settled heavily on her shoulders. Yet, in this moment, something stirred within her spirit, a flicker of defiance against the despair. She recalled the stories her grandmother told her about the ocean, how it was both fierce and nurturing, capable of destruction, yet also a source of life. Clara took a deep breath, letting the scent of the sea fill her lungs. What if, she pondered, these challenges are merely waves, pushing me towards something greater? With this thought, she felt a surge of determination. It was time to shift her perspective from victim to warrior, from passive observer to active participant in her own narrative. She began to walk along the shore, each step representing her commitment to embracing this journey. The footprints she left behind were not just marks in the sand. They symbolized her resilience and the new path she was forging. Each wave that lapped at her feet felt like a reminder that the ocean's depths were filled with unseen treasures, just waiting to be discovered. As dusk settled, Clara spotted an old fisherman mending his nets nearby. Intrigued, she approached him. "What draws you to this place every day?" she asked, her curiosity piqued. The fisherman looked up, his weathered face breaking into a warm smile. "The sea teaches patience, young lady. Patience and resilience," he continued, his hands deftly working the frayed ropes. "You see, the ocean is unpredictable. It can be calm one moment and raging the next, but every fisherman knows that the best catches come after the fiercest storms." Clara felt a spark of connection with the fisherman's words. It was as if the universe had sent her this moment to reinforce her newfound resolve. "So, you believe that the storms are necessary?" she asked, searching his eyes for wisdom. "Absolutely," he replied, nodding thoughtfully. "Every wave has a purpose, even if we don't see it right away. Just like in life, sometimes we need to weather the storm to appreciate the calm that follows." Inspired by his insight, Clara shared her own story of loss and the challenges she faced. The fisherman listened intently, his expression a mix of understanding and encouragement. "You've already taken the first step by acknowledging your struggles," he said. "Now you must learn to navigate through them. Every setback can teach you something valuable." As they spoke, the sun sank lower, painting the sky with shades of pink and purple. Clara felt the warmth of hope wash over her, mingling with the cool ocean breeze. She realized that her journey wasn't just about finding a new job. It was about discovering her own strength and purpose. The fisherman finished mending his nets and stood, stretching his tired muscles. "If you're willing, I can show you some of the ways the sea can provide," he offered, It's not just about fishing. It's about learning to read the tides, understanding the currents, and respecting the rhythm of the ocean. Clara's heart raced at the thought. Clara's heart raced at the thought. "I would love that," she replied, a spark of excitement igniting within her. The idea of learning from the sea, of becoming attuned to its rhythms and mysteries, felt like an invitation to embrace not just her circumstances, but also her potential. The fisherman motioned for her to follow him as he walked toward his small, weathered boat. "First, you must learn to respect the ocean," he said, his voice steady. "It gives and it takes, but if you approach it with reverence, it will reward you beyond measure." As they boarded the boat, Clara felt a rush of anticipation. The gentle rocking of the vessel reminded her of the ebb and flow of life, sometimes steady, sometimes tumultuous. The fisherman began to explain the tools of his trade, pointing out the nets, the bait, and the various gadgets he used to navigate the waters. "Each tool has its purpose," he explained, his eyes sparkling with passion. "Just like you, Clara. You have your own tools, skills, experiences, and dreams. The key is to learn how to use them effectively." As they drifted into deeper waters, Clara watched the horizon blend with the sky, a seamless fusion of colors that mirrored the complexity of her emotions. The sun was now a glowing orb, casting a shimmering path across the waves. "What's the most important lesson you've learned from the sea?" she asked, intrigued by his depth of knowledge. The fisherman paused, considering her question. "The sea has taught me humility. No matter how skilled I think I am, it can surprise me. It reminds me that I'm not in control, but I can respond to its demands with grace." His voice carried a weight of experience, resonating deeply within Clara. She realized that this lesson resonated with her own life. She had often tried to control every aspect of her circumstances, only to find herself overwhelmed and frustrated. As they ventured further from the shore, the water became a canvas of movement and life. Clara felt a sense of freedom, as if the vastness of the ocean was inviting her to let go of her fears and embrace the unknown. The fisherman began to teach her how to cast a line, demonstrating the fluid motion with precision. "Feel the rhythm," he instructed, guiding her hands as she practiced. "It's about harmony with the sea, trusting that what you release will come back to you in due time." Clara focused intently on his words, understanding that this metaphor extended beyond fishing. It echoed the essence of her own struggles, learning to trust the process and the timing of her life. After several attempts, Clara finally felt the line soar gracefully through the air and land upon the water's surface. A sense of accomplishment surged within her. "I did it!" she exclaimed, laughter bubbling up, mingling with the sounds of the sea. "Exactly," the fisherman replied, a smile breaking across his weathered face. "Every small victory counts. Just like each fish you catch contributes to your growth as a fisherman, each step you take in life builds upon the last." As they continued to drift, Clara's mind raced with possibilities. She thought about the job she had lost and the fear that had almost paralyzed her. "What if I never find a new job?" she questioned, a hint of worry creeping back into her voice. The fisherman turned to her, his gaze steady and reassuring. "What if you do?" he countered gently, his voice filled with wisdom. "What if this time of waiting is your opportunity to discover a passion you never knew you had?" Remember, the ocean doesn't just give us fish, it teaches us patience, resilience, and sometimes it leads us to a whole new path. Clara considered his words, realizing how deeply they resonated with her current situation. The loss of her job had felt like a sinking ship, but perhaps it was also the catalyst she needed to reevaluate her life and aspirations. "What if this is my chance to explore other avenues?" she mused aloud. "Perhaps I could discover something that truly fulfills me." "Exactly," the fisherman replied, nodding in approval. "Life's currents may seem erratic, but they often guide us to unexpected shores. Embrace the uncertainty. It's part of the journey." He cast his line into the water again, the splash echoing like a reminder of the possibilities waiting just beneath the surface. As Clara watched the ripples spread, she felt a shift within herself. For the first time in weeks, a sense of excitement began to replace her anxiety. She thought of the creative pursuits she had shelved, the hobbies she had neglected, and the dreams that had gathered dust. "What if I started painting again?" she said, the idea sparking a flicker of joy. "I used to find so much peace in it." "Then do it," the fisherman encouraged, his voice filled with conviction. "The sea reflects our passions back at us, just like it rewards those who learn to navigate its depths. Your creativity will flourish as you dive into it wholeheartedly. Remember, the essence of both fishing and painting lies in the connection to the process, not just the outcome." Clara nodded, feeling invigorated by the fisherman's words. As they continued to float on the calm waters, she envisioned herself standing before a canvas once again, brush in hand, letting her emotions flow freely. The thought was liberating, a breath of fresh air that swept away the cobwebs of doubt that had accumulated in her mind. "Perhaps I'll create a piece that embodies this journey, the waves of struggle transforming into a vibrant tide of hope," she said, her voice gaining strength. The idea filled her with a sense of purpose, and she could almost see the colors dancing before her eyes. The fisherman's eyes twinkled with approval. "That's the spirit, Clara. Art is a powerful expression of your inner self. It can heal, inspire, and connect you to others who may feel the same way." He paused, looking out towards the horizon. "And just like the sea, your art can evolve. Each stroke on the canvas is a testament to your journey, your resilience." Clara felt a warmth spread through her, knowing that her experiences, both good and bad, would find their way into her creations. "I want to capture the strength I've found in this moment," she said, her heart swelling with newfound determination. As they continued their fishing lesson, the fisherman shared stories of other artists he had met over the years, how they had poured their souls into their work, often using the challenges they faced as fuel for their art. Clara listened intently, inspired by the idea that her struggles could become the very foundation of her expression. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting a golden glow on the water, Clara felt a deep sense of gratitude for this unexpected mentorship. The fisherman, sensing her growing enthusiasm, guided her through the intricacies of fishing, but his lessons extended far beyond the act itself. With each cast of the line, he wove in stories of resilience, emphasizing the importance of patience and adaptability. "Every fisherman has tales of the one that got away," he said, chuckling softly. "But those tales are what shape us. They remind us to keep trying, to keep casting our lines, even when the fish seem elusive." Clara nodded, understanding that her own journey had moments of loss and disappointment, yet each experience had contributed to her growth. "Have you ever had a time when you felt like giving up?" she asked, curious about the fisherman's own struggles. He paused, his gaze turning serious. "Oh, many times," he admitted. "There were seasons when the sea was barren, and I questioned my purpose. But in those moments, I learned to listen to the whispers of the wind, the rhythms of the waves. They taught me to trust the process." His honesty resonated with Clara. She realized that her recent job loss and the uncertainty that loomed over her were part of a larger narrative, a narrative that could lead her to something meaningful if she allowed herself to embrace the journey. "Do you think it's possible to find purpose in the waiting?" Clara asked, her voice steady but filled with vulnerability. The fisherman turned to her, his expression warm and encouraging. "Absolutely. Waiting can feel like a desert, but sometimes it's in those dry seasons that we cultivate our deepest strengths. It is also when we learn to appreciate the abundance that follows. You see, Clara, the ocean has its cycles, just as life does. There are times of bounty and times of scarcity, but both are essential for growth." Clara took a moment to absorb his words, feeling a profound sense of understanding wash over her. The fear that had gripped her heart began to dissipate, replaced by a flicker of hope. "So, the waiting isn't wasted time?" she asked, her voice reflecting newfound clarity. "Not at all," the fisherman affirmed, his eyes sparkling with wisdom. "Every moment spent waiting can deepen your resolve, enhance your skills, and ultimately prepare you for the opportunities that lie ahead. It's like the ocean preparing for a storm. It may seem calm, but beneath the surface, there's a whole world of preparation happening." As the sun finally dipped below the horizon, the sky transformed into a tapestry of deep blues and purples, casting a serene ambiance around them. Clara felt a shift in the air, as if the universe itself was acknowledging her transformation. The shadows of doubt that had lingered in her heart began to recede, replaced by a growing sense of purpose. "Let's head back," the fisherman said, pulling up the anchor and preparing to guide the boat toward the shore. "We've had a good day, and I believe you've cast your line not just into the water, but into the very depths of your potential." Clara smiled, grateful for the lessons learned and the unexpected connection forged with the fisherman. As they navigated back, she reflected on the journey that had brought her to this moment. The ocean might have been vast and unpredictable, but it was also a mirror of her own life, full of potential and mystery waiting to be explored. As the boat glided over the gentle waves, Clara felt a sense of kinship with the ocean. It echoed her own journey of uncertainty, resilience, and now, discovery. The fisherman's words lingered in her mind like a soothing balm, and she realized that she was beginning to see the beauty in her struggles rather than just the weight of them. Upon reaching the shore, Clara stepped onto the sand with a newfound lightness in her heart. The salty air felt invigorating, and the coolness beneath her feet reminded her that she was firmly grounded in the present moment. "Thank you for today," she said, her voice steady. "I learned more than just fishing." The fisherman chuckled, his eyes crinkling with warmth. "The sea has its own way of teaching. Remember, Clara, every wave is a lesson, and every tide a chance to reflect. Keep coming back, and you'll continue to learn." He gathered his equipment, But before he departed, he handed her a small, intricately carved wooden charm in the shape of a fish. Take this as a reminder of your journey. Let it symbolize both your resilience and the treasures yet to be discovered. Clara accepted the charm with gratitude, feeling its smooth surface in her palm. "I will cherish this," she promised, her heart swelling with appreciation for the unexpected mentor who had guided her through her doubts. As she walked back along the beach, the moon began to rise, illuminating the path ahead. Clara felt the urge to reflect on everything that had transpired during the day. The ocean, the fishermen, and the lessons learned. As she walked back along the beach, the moon began to rise, illuminating the path ahead. Clara felt the urge to reflect on everything that had transpired during the day. The ocean, the fishermen, and the lessons learned were all woven into her thoughts, forming a tapestry of new-found hope and determination. The gentle sound of the waves lapping against the shore became a rhythmic backdrop for her contemplation. Each step she took seemed to echo the wisdom imparted by the fishermen, reminding her that she was not merely adrift, but on a purposeful journey. "What will I do next?" she wondered. "How can I bring my dreams to life?" With renewed clarity, Clara envisioned herself returning to her art. The vibrant colors she had imagined earlier swirled in her mind, evoking the essence of the ocean and the strength she felt. "I'll paint a piece that captures the ocean's spirit," she decided, excitement bubbling up inside her. "It will be a visual reminder of my resilience and the beauty that emerges from struggle." By the time Clara reached her small apartment, her heart was racing with anticipation. She quickly gathered her painting supplies, brushes, canvases, and a palette of colors that mirrored the sunset she had witnessed hours earlier. The vibrant oranges, pinks, and deep purples sparked something within her, igniting a passion she had long neglected. Setting up in her living room, she turned on her favorite music, allowing the melodies to create an atmosphere of inspiration. As she began to paint, Clara felt the weight of her worries begin to lift. Each stroke of the brush became a release, a way to express the tumultuous journey she had traveled. The canvas transformed before her eyes, mirroring her. The canvas transformed before her eyes, mirroring her emotional landscape. Clara lost herself in the rhythm of her brush strokes, the colors blending together like the waves she had come to admire. With every flick of her wrist, she poured her heart into the painting, channeling her fears, hopes, and the lessons learned from the fishermen. As the ocean's essence unfolded on the canvas, Clara's thoughts drifted back to the conversations they had shared. The fisherman's words echoed in her mind, reminding her that patience and resilience were not just virtues of the sea, but essential components of her own journey. "What if I let this piece tell my story?" she mused aloud, the thought invigorating her creativity. She decided to incorporate elements that represented her struggles, the dark blues and grays symbolizing the storms she had weathered, juxtaposed with vibrant yellows and greens that depicted the hope and strength she had found. This contrast reflected her belief that beauty often arises from chaos, much like the ocean that had both terrified and inspired her. Hours slipped by unnoticed as Clara immersed herself in her work. The world outside faded, replaced by the world she was creating on the canvas. Each layer added depth, each hue evoked emotion, and she felt a connection not just to her art, but to herself. This was the catharsis she had yearned for, the outlet that allowed her to reclaim her identity. As she stepped back to admire her progress, Clara felt a swell of pride. The painting was more than just a piece of art. It was a manifestation of her journey, a testament to her resilience and the promise of new beginnings. The vibrant depiction of waves crashing against a rocky shore seemed to pulse with life, as if inviting her to embrace the waves of her own life, both the turbulent and the serene. Clara spent the next few days lost in her artistic endeavor, painting late into the night, completely consumed by the process. Each brushstroke felt like a declaration, a way of reclaiming her narrative and reshaping her identity. The vibrant colors danced across the canvas, each hue representing a different aspect of her journey, her hopes, her fears, and her resilience. As she worked, Clara's creativity began to blossom in unexpected ways. Inspired by the fisherman's teachings, she decided to incorporate elements of nature into her art. Small shells collected from the beach found their way onto the canvas, each one a symbol of the beauty that arises from the depths of the ocean. She mixed sand into her paint, creating textures that mirrored the shoreline, grounding her artwork in the very essence of her experiences. One evening, after a particularly productive day, Clara stepped back to view her nearly completed painting. The waves seemed to move, swirling with energy, while the rocky shore stood firm and resolute. The juxtaposition filled her with a sense of empowerment. It was a reminder that even in chaos, there is strength to be found. That night, as she prepared to sleep, Clara felt a stirring in her heart. She realized that her journey was not just about overcoming struggles, but also about sharing her story. What if I created a space where others could connect with their own journeys? She pondered, the idea sparking a new flame of inspiration. The following morning, Clara woke up with renewed purpose. She envisioned an art exhibit, a showcase of her work that would not only highlight her journey, but also invite others to share their stories. I could call the exhibit Waves of Resilience, Clara whispered to herself, the name echoing with promise. It encapsulated everything she had learned, the beauty found in struggle, the strength in vulnerability, and the transformative power of art. This was her moment to shine, to invite others to witness the journey she had traveled, and to inspire them to embrace their own. With this vision in mind, Clara began to map out the details of her exhibit. She reached for her notebook, flipping to a blank page and jotting down ideas. Venue, she wrote at the top. Somewhere close to the ocean, where the waves can whisper their encouragement. She envisioned a cozy gallery, a space filled with natural light, where people could feel the energy of the ocean even without stepping outside. Next, she considered the logistics. Clara thought about reaching out to local artists, those whose stories resonated with her own, who could contribute their work to the exhibit. Art is meant to be shared, she reminded herself, envisioning a gallery filled with a tapestry of experiences woven together through creativity. Every piece will tell a story of hope, of struggle, of triumph. As she began to plan, Clara felt the excitement build within her. She found herself scrolling through her contacts, reaching out to friends and fellow artists. I have an idea for an exhibit, she typed eagerly, her heart racing. I want to create a space where we can all share our journeys through art. Would you be interested in contributing?" The responses came from flooding in, each one filled with encouragement and enthusiasm. Clara felt a sense of community forming, a collective of individuals eager to join her in this exploration of resilience. She smiled as she read their stories, each reply igniting her vision further. Friends shared their own struggles, their own art, and the ways in which creativity had served as a lifeline. The excitement was palpable, as if the universe itself conspired to support Clara's dream. With each message, Clara's conviction grew stronger. She began to formulate a plan for the exhibit, sketching out ideas for how each piece could be displayed to highlight the narratives behind them. "We can create an interactive experience," she thought, envisioning a space where attendees could leave their own stories, perhaps written on small cards or painted on a shared canvas. Art as a dialogue, a conversation about resilience, she mused, feeling the energy of collaboration. As the days turned into weeks, Clara dove headfirst into organizing the exhibit. She secured a local gallery with large windows that overlooked the ocean, ensuring that the natural beauty outside would enhance the experience within. She gathered her own artwork, carefully selecting pieces that represented her journey from struggle to triumph. Each canvas held a story, and she wanted them to resonate with anyone who walked through the door. Clara reached out to local businesses for support, seeking sponsorships and donations to help cover the costs. To her delight, several shops and cafes offered to contribute, understanding the importance of fostering creativity and community. The momentum was building, and with each decision she made, Clara felt an exhilarating sense of purpose. On a particularly sunny afternoon, Clara met with a few of the artists who expressed interest in showcasing their work. They gathered at a cozy cafe, the salty breeze drifting through the open windows. Over cups of coffee, they shared their stories, their art, and their hopes for the exhibit. Clara listened intently as the atmosphere buzzed with inspiration. Each artist brought their unique perspective, their own waves of resilience, and Clara could feel the synergy igniting the room. It was as if they were all threads woven together, destined to create something beautiful. "I envision a space where each of our stories can connect," Clara began, her voice steady and passionate. "Through our art, we can show that we're not alone in our struggles. We can inspire others to find their own resilience." The artists nodded in agreement, their eyes alight with excitement. One of them, a painter named Lucas, leaned forward. "What if we included a section where visitors can create their own art on site? It could be a way for them to express their feelings as they experience our work." Clara's heart raced at the idea. Yes, we could set up a collaborative canvas for attendees to paint on throughout the exhibit. It would symbolize the collective journey we're all on. As they discussed ideas, Clara noticed the way the sunlight filtered through the cafe windows, casting a warm glow over their gathering. It felt magical, as if the universe was affirming their mission. They brainstormed ways to incorporate interactive elements, such as sharing circles where attendees could talk about their own experiences and how art had impacted their lives. As the meeting wrapped up, Clara felt a sense of camaraderie and excitement. "Let's meet again next week to finalize our plans," she suggested, her enthusiasm infectious. The group exchanged smiles, and Clara could see the spark of creativity igniting within each of them. In the following days, Clara threw herself into preparation for the exhibit. She spent hours painting, refining her work to ensure that each piece would resonate. In the following days, Clara threw herself into preparation for the exhibit. She spent hours painting, refining her work to ensure that each piece would resonate not just with her, but with the visitors who would soon stand before them. The excitement within her bubbled over, and she could hardly wait to share her journey with the world. As the date of the exhibit approached, Clara felt a mix of anticipation and nerves. She found herself waking early, her mind racing with ideas for the collaborative canvas. What would she want visitors to express? How could she create an inviting environment that encouraged open sharing? The thought of turning the gallery into a sanctuary for creativity and healing filled her with purpose. One afternoon, while organizing her materials, Clara received a message from the fisherman. "I heard about your exhibit, Clara. I'm proud of you," he wrote. "Remember, the ocean is always with you. It teaches us to embrace change and flow with it." His words warmed her heart, reminding her of the valuable lessons he had imparted. She decided to invite him to the opening night. His presence would be a fitting tribute to the journey that had sparked this entire endeavor. As Clara prepared the gallery, she envisioned the space transformed. Draped fabric in ocean hues would hang from the walls, creating a serene atmosphere, while her paintings would be the focal point, each narrating a chapter of her story. She arranged for soft lighting to cast a gentle glow, reminiscent of the sunset she had witnessed on the boat with the fisherman. On the day of the exhibit, Clara arrived early, her heart pounding with excitement. The scent of fresh paint still lingered in the air, mixing with the salty breeze that wafted through the open windows. Clara stepped into the gallery, her heart racing as she took in the transformation of the space. It felt alive, imbued with the energy of her journey and the stories of the artists who had joined her. The walls were adorned with vibrant paintings that spoke of struggle and resilience, each piece a testament to the power of creativity. She felt a mix of pride and vulnerability, knowing that soon her story, and the stories of others, would be shared with the world. As she arranged the finishing touches, her thoughts drifted to the collaborative canvas. She had set up a large blank canvas at the center of the room, surrounded by pots of paint, brushes, and sponges. It was an invitation for attendees to express their own journeys, an opportunity to create something beautiful together. Clara envisioned people stepping up to the canvas, sharing their emotions through art, and connecting in a way that transcended words. The clock inched closer to the opening time, and Clara's excitement was palpable. She could hear the distant sounds of laughter and chatter as guests began to arrive. Each new face brought with it a sense of possibility, and Clara felt the weight of her dreams becoming a reality. She greeted friends and fellow artists, their smiles and encouragement fueling her enthusiasm. "Clara, this place looks amazing," Lucas exclaimed, stepping back to admire the gallery's ambiance. "You've really captured the essence of the ocean." "Thank you. I wanted it to feel like a sanctuary, a place where people can connect," Clara replied, her eyes sparkling. She felt a sense of gratitude for everyone who had contributed to this moment, each artist adding their unique voice to the collective narrative. As the guests began to mingle, Clara took a... As the guests began to mingle, Clara took a moment to step back and observe the magic unfolding. Laughter and conversation filled the air, blending harmoniously with the gentle background music. The energy in the gallery was palpable, a vibrant tapestry woven from the threads of shared experiences and creative expression. She spotted the fisherman at the entrance, his familiar figure framed by the doorway. He wore a simple smile, his eyes reflecting the pride he must have felt for her accomplishments. Clara felt a rush of warmth at the sight of him. "Thank you for coming," she called out, making her way to him through the crowd. "It's a beautiful gathering, Clara," he replied, his voice steady and filled with admiration. "I see the ocean's spirit in every corner. You've created something truly special." Clara beamed at his words, grateful for his unwavering support. As they walked together through the gallery, she pointed out various pieces, sharing the stories behind each painting. The fisherman listened intently, nodding in understanding. "Your journey is reflected in your art," he said thoughtfully. "It's a testament to the waves you've navigated." "Thank you for believing in me," Clara replied, feeling a swell of gratitude. "You were the one who showed me that I could embrace my struggles and turn them into something beautiful." As they continued to move through the gallery, Clara noticed a group of attendees gathered around the collaborative canvas. They were already painting, their expressions focused and engaged. The sight filled her with joy. This was exactly what she had envisioned, a space for connection and expression. "Let's check it out," Clara said, leading the fisherman to the canvas. As they approached, Clara felt a surge of excitement. The collaborative canvas had become a vibrant explosion of color, each stroke telling a different story. Attendees of all ages were gathered around, their hands smeared with paint as they poured their emotions into this shared creation. She could see hues of blue and green mingling with splashes of bright yellow and deep red, representing the myriad of experiences and feelings being expressed. "Look at how beautifully they're connecting," Clara said, her voice filled with awe. The fisherman nodded, a knowing smile gracing his lips. "Art has a unique way of breaking down barriers. It invites vulnerability and authenticity." As Clara stepped closer, she overheard snippets of heartfelt conversations. One woman was sharing her story of loss while adding delicate strokes of gray to the canvas, tears glistening in her eyes. Another young girl, her face alight with joy, was painting sunflowers, symbolizing hope and new beginnings. The diversity of emotions being expressed was a testament to the power of art as a healing force. "Would you like to join them?" the fisherman asked, gesturing toward the canvas. Clara hesitated for a moment, then felt the pull of the moment. "Yes, I think I will," she replied, stepping forward with newfound courage. She dipped her brush in a vibrant turquoise and began to add her own touches to the canvas. With each stroke, she felt a sense of liberation, as if the weight of her past struggles was being lifted. The colors she chose mirrored the vibrant waves of the ocean, a reminder of the journey she had taken to arrive here. "Can I paint with you?" A small voice interrupted her thoughts. Clara turned to see the young girl with the sunflowers. Clara smiled warmly at her and nodded. "Of course. What would you like to add?" The girl's eyes lit up with excitement as she reached for a brush. "Can I paint a big rainbow? It's my favorite." Clara felt her heart swell at the enthusiasm radiating from the child. "Absolutely. Rainbows are beautiful," she replied, guiding the girl in choosing the right colors. As they painted together, Clara watched the girl's small hands work with determination, adding vibrant strokes of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple to the canvas. Each color blended together harmoniously, just like the stories being shared around them. Clara felt a sense of connection with the girl, as they both contributed to this living tapestry of resilience and hope. As they painted, Clara couldn't help but think about the significance of this moment. Here they were, strangers united by their struggles and dreams, expressing their journeys through art. It reminded her of the fisherman's teachings about the importance of community and connection. The gallery, filled with laughter and creativity, felt like a sanctuary where healing was possible. "Why did you want to paint a rainbow?" Clara asked the girl, curious about her inspiration. The girl paused, her brow furrowing as she mixed colors. "Because rainbows come after the rain," she said simply. "They make me happy." Clara's heart melted at the wisdom in such a childlike statement. "That's a beautiful reason," she replied, her voice filled with warmth. "It's true, sometimes we have to go through tough times to see the beauty on the other side." Just then, the fisherman approached the canvas, a proud smile on his face. The fisherman approached the canvas, a proud smile on his face as he took in the kaleidoscope of colors emerging from the collaborative effort. "Look at this," he said, pointing to the swirling hues created by Clara and the young girl. "A perfect representation of life, a blend of storms and sunshine, struggles and triumphs." Clara felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her as she stood beside the girl, now engrossed in painting the final strokes of her rainbow. "It's incredible how everyone's contributions come together to create something beautiful," Clara remarked, her eyes shining with appreciation. The fisherman nodded, his gaze sweeping over the canvas, filled with the stories and emotions of those present. "Art has a way of binding us together," he said. "Whether in joy or sorrow, it reminds us that we're all part of something larger." His words resonated deeply within Clara, reinforcing the very essence of her vision for the exhibit. As more guests gathered around, Clara noticed a diverse group of attendees, young and old, some carrying the weight of their own stories, others filled with light and laughter. They began to share their thoughts on the canvas, sparking conversations about resilience and the healing power of creativity. "Look at how they're connecting," the fisherman said softly, observing the interactions. "This is what it's all about, finding strength in vulnerability, forging bonds through shared experiences." Encouraged by the atmosphere of openness, Clara decided to take a step further. "Would anyone like to share their story?" she asked, her voice steady yet inviting. A gentle hush fell over the crowd as people turned their attention to her. Curiosity piqued. An older gentleman stepped forward, his hands trembling. His hands trembling slightly, as he grasped the edge of the canvas for support. Clara could see the weariness etched on his face, yet there was a spark of determination in his eyes. "I'd like to share," he said, his voice low but steady. "My name is Samuel." Clara gestured for him to continue, her heart swelling with gratitude for the vulnerability he was about to share. "I lost my wife a few years ago," Samuel began, his gaze drifting to the vibrant colors around him. We had been married for over 40 years. She was my anchor, my guiding light. When she passed, I felt adrift, like a boat without a rudder. The room was silent, the weight of his words hanging in the air. Clara felt a pang of empathy, knowing the pain of loss all too well. After her passing, I didn't know how to cope. I stopped painting, something I had loved since I was a child. My grief consumed me, and I felt as if the colors had faded from my life. Samuel paused, taking a deep breath. But then, one day, I found myself drawn to the canvas again. I started to paint the memories we had shared, the sunsets, the flowers she loved, and even the laughter we shared. I realized that through art, I could keep her spirit alive. Clara's heart ached at his powerful testimony, and she could see the realization flicker in the eyes of those gathered around. Samuel smiled gently, his voice gaining strength. It was through my grief that I discovered my own resilience. I learned that while I lost a part of myself, I could still find beauty in the act of creation. Painting became my way of honoring her memory and celebrating the love we shared. As Samuel spoke, the room filled with a palpable energy, a mix of empathy and inspiration. Clara felt a tear escape her eye, touched by the profound journey he had shared. It was a reminder of the delicate balance of life, where joy and sorrow often coexist, shaping who we are. "Thank you for sharing, Samuel," Clara said, her voice warm and genuine. "Your story reminds us all that art can be a powerful form of healing. It's a way to transform pain into something beautiful." The gathered crowd murmured in agreement, nodding their heads in understanding. It was clear that Samuel's vulnerability had opened a door for others to share their stories as well. One by one, people stepped forward, recounting their own experiences of loss, hope, and resilience. A young woman spoke of her battle with anxiety and how painting had become her refuge. An artist shared how losing his job had pushed him to find his true passion in sculpture. Each story was unique, yet they were all interconnected by the threads of struggle and triumph. Clara felt a sense of unity envelop the room, a collective affirmation that they were not alone in their journeys. As the evening unfolded, Clara stepped back, absorbing the atmosphere of connection and healing. The collaborative canvas had become a living testament to their shared experiences, a vibrant tapestry woven from the threads of countless stories. It was as if the ocean itself had washed over them, merging their individual currents into one powerful tide of resilience. When the last person had shared their story, a sense of quiet reflection settled over the crowd. Clara could see the impact of their openness on each face. As Clara observed the room, she noticed the way the light danced off the collaborative canvas, illuminating the colors that had been born from both joy and sorrow. It was a living entity now, pulsating with the energy of shared experiences. The atmosphere was thick with emotion, a beautiful blend of empathy and understanding that connected every soul present. Feeling a surge of gratitude, Clara turned to Samuel. "Thank you for initiating this dialogue. Your courage to share has inspired all of us," she said, her voice steady and heartfelt. He smiled warmly, a glimmer of hope illuminating his eyes. Just then, the fisherman, who had been quietly listening to the stories unfold, stepped forward. "I'd like to say something as well," he announced, drawing the attention of the crowd. Clara felt a flutter of anticipation in her stomach. "You've all shared your pain and your triumphs, and that takes immense courage. But remember, every wave that crashes on the shore also recedes, leaving behind treasures, lessons that can only be found in the quiet moments of reflection. He gestured toward the canvas. This is a testament to not just your struggles, but also your victories. The act of creating something beautiful from life's storms is a powerful reminder that you are never defined by your struggles. It's how you respond to them that shapes your journey. Clara could see heads nodding in agreement, the weight of his words resonating deeply. As the fisherman continued to speak, she felt a wave of emotion wash over her. It was in this moment that she realized the exhibit had transcended its original purpose. It had become a sanctuary for healing and connection. As the evening wore on, Clara encouraged attendees to take their time with the collaborative canvas, to linger and reflect on the stories shared. She watched as people returned to the canvas, adding their own touches, their own colors, as if they were weaving their experiences into the fabric of the collective creation. The energy in the room was electric. It felt as if the very air around them was charged with possibility. Let's create a space for healing, Clara thought, her heart swelling with the beauty of connection that had blossomed throughout the night. She stepped forward, grabbing a brush herself, and began to add a layer of shimmering gold around the edges of the canvas. This will represent the light that emerges after the storm, she explained to those nearby. The hope that persists even when the waves seem overwhelming. At her side, the young girl who had painted the rainbow joined in, her small hands reaching for the gold paint. "Can I help?" she asked, her eyes shining with eagerness. Clara smiled and handed her the brush, watching as the girl carefully painted along the edges, her strokes filled with youthful exuberance. As the girl painted, Clara felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. This was exactly what she had envisioned, a tapestry of stories united by hope, where each individual's contribution mattered. She glanced around the room, taking in the diverse tapestry of people, some lost in thought, others animatedly discussing their experiences, and a few standing quietly, simply absorbing the atmosphere. A gentle knock on the gallery door interrupted her reverie, and Clara turned to see the owner of the venue peeking in. "I just wanted to say how incredible this evening has been," the owner said, beaming. As the owner stepped inside, Clara felt a swell of pride at the acknowledgement. "Thank you so much for hosting us," Clara replied, her voice filled with warmth. "It means the world to have this space for our stories and art." The owner nodded, glancing around the gallery at the vibrant canvas and the engaged crowd. "It's truly remarkable to see how you've created a community here. I've never witnessed such a powerful connection through art before. It's inspiring." Clara smiled, feeling the energy of the evening resonate in her heart. Art has a unique ability to bring people together. It's a language of its own, one that transcends words. With a final nod, the owner stepped back, allowing the evening to flow uninterrupted. Clara's attention returned to the collaborative canvas, where the young girl continued to paint her golden strokes, creating a radiant border that seemed to frame the collective work of art. Clara felt a sense of wonder at how, in just a few hours, the canvas had transformed from a blank space into a vivid representation of shared human experiences. As the night wore on, Clara encouraged attendees to engage more deeply with one another. "Let's not just paint," she suggested, "but also share what this experience means to us. Let's create a dialogue." In response, small groups formed around the canvas, and conversations began to flow. Clara moved from one group to another, listening intently as stories of resilience and hope were exchanged. Each narrative was a thread woven into the larger tapestry they were creating, a testament to the strength found in vulnerability. As she approached a group of 3 women, Clara caught snippets of their conversation. "I never thought I could express my pain." As she approached a group of 3 women, Clara caught snippets of their conversation. "I never thought I could express my pain through art," one of them said, her voice tinged with disbelief. "But standing here, painting alongside others who understand, it feels liberating." Clara felt her heart swell hearing these words. This was the essence of her vision. A safe space where people could connect deeply, share their stories, and transform their pain into something beautiful. She stepped closer, eager to hear more. "What's been your experience?" Clara asked gently, inviting the women to share. The first woman, a middle-aged artist with an expressive face, nodded. "I lost my daughter a few years ago. I thought I'd never be able to create again, but tonight, being surrounded by all this energy, I felt compelled to pick up a brush. I'm rediscovering my voice." Her words hung in the air, heavy with emotion. Clara reached out, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Thank you for sharing that. Your journey is a testament to the power of community and healing. Art can be a bridge to the light, even in the darkest times." The second woman, younger and visibly moved, added, "I've been struggling with anxiety, and I often feel isolated. But here, I don't feel alone anymore. Seeing everyone's stories unfold on the canvas gives me hope." The third woman chimed in, her voice filled with conviction. "It's incredible how we can all bring our different experiences to this space. It reminds me that there's beauty in our struggles. We're not just individuals, we're part of a greater tapestry." Clara nodded enthusiastically, feeling the warmth. Clara nodded enthusiastically, feeling the warmth of their connection seep into her heart. "Absolutely. Each of our stories adds a unique layer to this tapestry," she affirmed, her voice filled with passion. "The beauty of our struggles is that they can intertwine, creating something far more profound than we could achieve alone." The women smiled, their eyes brightening as they began to discuss their ideas for contributing to the collaborative canvas. Clara felt a pulse of excitement as she watched them sketch out their visions, their mutual understanding deepening the bonds forged that evening. "Let's add symbols of hope," the first woman suggested. "Maybe a tree to represent growth and new beginnings? Or flowers that bloom after a storm," the younger woman added, her fingers dancing in the air as she described vibrant petals opening to the sun. Clara's heart soared at their creative synergy. "Yes, let's make this canvas a true reflection of our resilience," she encouraged, eager to see their ideas come to life. Together, we can create a beautiful garden of hope." As they painted, Clara felt the energy of the room shift. The sounds of laughter and shared stories mingled with the strokes of brushes on canvas, creating a symphony of healing and expression. Each addition to the collaborative artwork seemed to ignite a spark within the hearts of those present, transforming the gallery into a sacred space of unity. Nearby, The fisherman observed with pride, noticing how Clara had cultivated an environment where vulnerability flourished. He approached her, placing a hand on her shoulder. "You've done something remarkable tonight, Clara. This is more than just an exhibit. It's a movement." Clara smiled, feeling a rush of gratitude for his support and encouragement. "I couldn't have done this without you," she replied, her voice filled with sincerity. "Your teachings inspired me to embrace my story and share it with others. It's incredible to see how art can bridge our experiences." The fisherman nodded, his eyes twinkling with approval. "You've created a safe harbor for so many. Just as the ocean brings us together, your art is a reminder that we are all interconnected in our struggles and triumphs." As the evening progressed, the energy in the gallery continued to swell, each story shared adding depth to their collective experience. Clara looked around, her heart full as she witnessed the transformations taking place. Attendees who had arrived as strangers were now exchanging phone numbers, promising to stay in touch and discussing future collaborations. The gallery was no longer just a venue, it had become a community. With the collaborative canvas nearing completion, Clara felt a sense of urgency to capture the moment. "Can we take a picture together?" she suggested, her excitement bubbling over. The group of women, along with others who had contributed to the canvas, gathered around, their faces bright with joy. As Clara raised her phone to take the photo, she caught a glimpse of Samuel standing nearby, a soft smile on his face. "You've embraced the spirit of resilience, Clara," he said, his voice warm. "This moment is a testament to the healing power of art and the connections we forge through it." "Thank you, Samuel," she replied, her heart fluttering with appreciation. "Your courage to share your story has touched all of us. I hope this canvas reminds everyone that they can find